What is going on, everybody? Back to the channel. Thank you guys for coming through, for watching this video. Watch the draft pretty much up until the Falcons make their second pick, which is very, very interesting. Want to talk about that and give my thoughts and opinions. Look, the Falcons went defense and they doubled down. Kind of similar to what I thought they was going to do anyway. I thought it was going to go defense. No way they was going to go offense. And not only that, they doubled down on it. You know, that was a really big emphasis on the fact that they really know that they have a problem with their pass rush. And the Falcons get, Jalon Walker. I mean, come on, from the University of Georgia. Something that a lot of Falcons fans been wanting us to do for a long time, wanting us to draft Georgia players. You saw the Philadelphia Eagles do it, and it was some success, and the Falcons end up doing it as well. But they go back into the first round and get James Pearce Jr., which was a very huge move. I didn't see that coming, but this is my thought. And I want you to, pretty much see where I'm coming from. I think that James Pearce Jr. was the play all along, but not at 15. It kind of gives you that kind of vibe because of the fact that at 15, they waited to the last minute to make that pick on Walker. And to be honest, I'm surprised Walker fell to 15. I didn't think that was going to be the case. A lot of people didn't think he was going to be the case. He kind of slid. A lot of people said that he was like a top 5, top 8 pick in the draft, and he falls all the way to 15. And the Falcons was like, all right, what are we going to do? Because they wanted Pearce. I believe they wanted Pearce at 15, but when you got a guy like that who can come in right away and play, well, that type of caliber in Walker, they were more like, okay, if nobody wanted to trade with us, because we could trade back, get some more picks, and still get, get Pearce, it was going to be a win-win. But what happened was they ended up pulling the trigger and getting Walker anyway, and they traded back into the first round, gave up a first-round pick for next year, which, knowing where the Falcons are right now, looking at the situation in their roster, I believe that it was worth it. Giving up that first-round pick, you got a third round for this year, which, that helps because you're not completely out of the loop for the rest of this draft. And you end up picking up Pearce. I think it was a really good move overall. I don't think it was a, out of the park move. Now, based on the need that we had, yes. But as far as you giving up that draft capital, it was a solid move. And at the end of the day, this is what you needed. Now you got Pearce. Now you got Walker. Now you got Braylon Trice coming back. You got Arnold Ebiketie, who was showing signs. You got Harrison. You still got Caden Ellis. You got Leonard Floyd that was just signed. Who was the guy from the Raiders that we just signed? We signed another linebacker over there. So that front seven is starting to get more, athletic. They're starting to get faster, and they're trying to get at the quarterback. And sometimes you got to make some changes or make some moves to make that happen. Scare money don't make no money. So at the end of the day, knowing that you were the last team in sacks for the last decade, you haven't had a really good pass rush since like Vic Beasley. And let's be honest, Vic Beasley was a good player for that year. I think it was 2016. Bro had 4 sacks in one game, so that boosted his numbers a little bit. And it's not nothing to take away from that because, 4 sacks is 4 sacks. But he had like double-digit sacks, but 4 of those came in one game. So it was like, you're not getting that complete consistency at that time, but it was great. And you also have a couple of guys that can get at the quarterback. Arnold Ebiketie was coming up as being a better pass rusher. You also had, Braylon Trice, Caden Ellis. Braylon Trice was hurt, but he's going to come back. He can get at the quarterback. Caden Ellis, you saw what he could do. Leonard Floyd, look, you already know his resume as well. So, I didn't even talk about Anyamata, Sweat. I haven't talked about the other guys that are on that front seven. Knowing what you got in the secondary already, which is fairly solid, and then you turn around and the offense is pretty good already, I think that the team did itself a good service by giving up that first-round pick, by getting some guys that can get at the quarterback and possibly be, make the defense a completely different, a very different look. I don't even know what I was going to say, but you know what I was saying. Different look from what they had last year because we just couldn't get at the quarterback. Now you got two guys that can do that, and like I said, I feel like this is where the Falcons wanted to go. I feel like they wanted to get Pearce early, but they knew they could trade back to get him, and they ended up taking Walker and had to trade back. I think the first round pick was worth it based on the needs and the type of players you got. You got a couple of players that actually can do some things. I don't know how it's going to pan out that first year. Maybe we can get some really good production. You get 4 sacks out of both of these guys next year. I mean, that's well worth it. You know what I mean? Plus, like I said, you don't even know what Leonard Floyd brings to the table. I mean, you know what he brings to the table, but you don't know what numbers he's going to bring to the table. Caden Ellis is still there. J.D. Bertrand, Braylon Trice. I just talked about Braylon Trice. I mean, you got some guys. We got some guys now. Not saying that we didn't have them last year, but they underachieved. And when you underachieve, you bring in guys like what we brought in the first round. So the second, not the second round, but the rest of the draft is what it is. I don't know if the Falcons are basically playing with house money at this point. They don't really need to address any position at this point. The rest of the draft is going to be what it is. You're going to have some guys that are on the board that probably can make a difference. And even if they don't, it doesn't hurt anything. Because like I said, they addressed their needs. Everybody knew what the Falcons needed. You were last in the pass rush for the last 10 years. So you get 2 guys that was pretty much rated as damn near top 10 picks. And you got both of them outside the top 15. I mean, I think that at the end of the day, I think they did a good job. I don't have any quarrels with what they did. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I'm about to head to work. Another day is Friday. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the rest of the draft. Something to smile about a little bit, especially with all this stuff with Kirk Cousins going on. Something to smile about and something to be hopeful for. Hopefully they pan out. It looks like these 2 guys are going to, in my opinion. I think Terry Fontenot and company. I think they pulled off a really good draft so far. Good job. All right, y'all. I'm out. Y'all take it easy. Y'all be blessed. Peace.